Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hide, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Your host, the Hunt. Welcome back to the Baseball Hide. Hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. So, the Mets won tonight 13-5, but obviously the big story tonight was that Pete Alonso finally broke the Mets' all-time home run total, and it's now 254. Hit a home run in the third inning off of Spencer Strider, and the fourth inning off of Spencer Strider, and it was just a line drive. I didn't think it was going to go out until the right fielder turns his back to the infield. And then I realized it was going to go out. But the Mets have been very lucky with him. He was a second-round pick in 2016. He was a guy that wasn't really considered an everyday player. The thought was that he was going to be a designated hitter, and the Mets drafted him. And back then, the DH wasn't in the National League. But he's worked very hard to become a very good defensive first baseman. But then he got here. And obviously, he is the Mets' all-time home run leader. Obviously, he had 53 home runs the first year. And it's funny, I've been sort of a defender of his for many, many years, especially after the 2020 season when it was only 60 games. And Pete got off to a horrific start. The first 6 weeks of that terrible season was not good for him. And in the last 2 weeks, he came around. Everybody I was dealing with online, Dom Smith got assigned. Dom Smith's the first baseman. Dom Smith sucked, and it was clear to me that he was a terrible player, and that Pete was going to be, and has been, a great player here. And people have been complaining about him, so I take a lot of pride in seeing that I was right, and to say that he was a player that's very popular with most people. But there is a small portion of the audience now, a small portion of the fan base is now forever shut up. They're never going to be able to say anything to go after him anymore, comparing to Dave Kingman. And of course, he wasn't clutch. We saw that last few years from the Spaz and the Coconut. And again today, folks, on WFN, they were knocking the Mets' home run total and knocking Pete again, saying that the home run total is not that important. Well, it clearly was important tonight because the fans were going crazy, taking their videos and taking pictures of Pete on the field, and I saw a lot of the videos online on X. This means a lot to all of us. If you're a Mets fan, this doesn't mean something to you, then you're not much of a Mets fan. And if you're the guys like Spaz Licata who hates Pete's guts, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I would say and I hope that he comes back after this year and finishes his career here. The next number is 300. That's the next big number. I'd love to see him get it in the Mets uniform. If he were to get it in the Mets uniform, it'd probably be sometime in 2027, if we have a 2027. But that's down the road. But the sort of, and Keith said at the end of the game, after the game, he plays every day. He plays hard. He never gets hurt. He's about as durable as it gets. Even when he's had these wrist injuries, he comes to play. And when you have a player like that, and he's the Mets' most popular player, as popular as Lindor has been over the last year, Pete's been the most popular player here since he got to the big leagues. He loves the fans. He loves it here. And hopefully he stays here. I think that he will stay here. Mets and Pete and the Mets fans have a connection together that's very special. And we have to make sure that we must let the Mets know that he has to stay here. He must be another guy that is here for the whole entirety of his career. And his number will go up in the rafters when he retires. Now the game. Before the game, we got big news, and that's Frankie Montas is now in the bullpen, which is one of the first things the Mets need to do to start fixing this rotation and settling down the pitching staff. Okay? That's the first thing they have to do. And they've done that now. Clay Holmes tonight is another fix they need to make. He must come out of the rotation. Now, he's been a good pitcher here. He's pitched really well the first few months here, but the last 7 or 8 starts have not been good. The Mets have really struggled to get him length. He's not been able to get more than 4 or 5 innings, and that's trouble. That's a lot of trouble. It's going to kill your bullpen. So I would suggest put him back in the bullpen. You can monitor his innings now. You pitch him late in the game. He's good late in the game. He's been a closer. and next year you can put him back in the rotation. But to match his innings, and really the quality of his pitches aren't very good. That's the major problem. And it's funny with a sinker balls when they pitch a lot, their sinker's better. But with him, he's getting the ball up, he's falling behind the count, he's walking a lot of batters. What was the number Gary said during the game tonight? It was 16 walks and 13 innings in the 3 games against the Braves. You can't win that way, obviously. So that's my next suggestion, is putting Holmes in the bullpen. Also on Saturday, there's a good thought and a belief is that, more than just a belief, is going to be one of the young pitchers the Mets have in AAA. Probably, in all likelihood, Nolan McLean will be pitching on Saturday. And that's got to be the next step here. And if he pitches well, then maybe the Mets will feel encouraged to bring up Brandon Sproat and have him pitch as well and take over for Clay Holmes in the rotation. Now, it's a lot of pressure on these young guys, but the Mets need all the help they can get. They need reinforcements with this rotation. There wasn't anything on the market that I thought could really help them out, and really nobody really got moved before the trade deadline. But that's another move that needs to be made. They did the right move today. Montas is out of the rotation. Put one of these young guys there, and he's going to be there for a while. Now, McLean is going to start every 5th day, and I guess they're going to have like 16, 17 games in a row, or 18 games or whatever, what Gary said before. But, they're going to need a 6th starter because they don't want to stretch out. They don't want to like squeeze any innings out of Kodai Senga, but that's the next step they need to do. Also, okay, they need to get Ryan Stanek out of here. I've seen enough of him. He has pitched terribly, and there's a reason why he's bounced around from team to team. I like to see him out of here, to be honest with you. I don't like his act. I don't like his shtick. And obviously he's pitched so poorly, there's no reason to pitch him at all and get him out of here. And if you put Holmes back in the bullpen, then he could take that place, And you could pitch Holmes in the 6th inning if you have to for 1 inning, or the 7th inning, or even earlier if you have to. And maybe get him 2 innings, or even just, minimally you want to get him 1 inning with Holmes if you put him in the bullpen. That's what I've been talking about here. So let me know what you think about that. Also with this game, let's hit 6 home runs tonight. 2 by Pete, 2 by Alvarez. It's great to see him be productive. He's been very unproductive since really he's been back. I know they talked about the numbers, but I don't think his bats have been all that great. The results haven't been there. But he was really driving that ball pretty good to the opposite field. And, of course, Brandon Nimmo had the big hit in the game, and he needed it. But he killed Spencer Strider. He had 2 hits against the guy and just crushed that home run in the 5th inning and put the game out of reach. So, the offense hopefully will start to pick up. This offense has to start hitting now. They have to start carrying this team because the starting pitching has been so piss poor at the moment that they have to find a way to carry the club. And hopefully they start doing that. They need to do that. It's extremely important that this team starts to hit down the stretch. Now, I did mention, and I've talked about this a lot, that the Mets had to compete for the division. They're now back 5 games behind the Phillies. This horrible 7-game losing streak they've had has put them so far behind the division. It's going to take them at least double the time to make up the ground now, and we're running out of games. We got about 7 weeks left in the season, 6 weeks left in the season. Can't be, having these long losing streaks. Okay, it's impossible to win anything if you do that. And the Mets have to fix that, and obviously the rotation has to be stabilized. The only guy that's been stable in that rotation has been David Peterson, and the rest of that rotation can't go more than 4 innings. That's you're not going to win anything, especially regular season wise. Anything to get the postseason. Postseason you kind of can get away with it now, but regular season you can't because there's just too much of a grind every day. And it's good to see also Francisco Lindor get off the schneid. He broke his hitting streak. What a novel idea, bunting. And Brandon Nimmo got off the schneid as well. They a lot of bad at-bats by Brandon. But that's what happened tonight in the game. And then, of course, they brought in Soto to pitch the middle of the game, and then they brought Hageman to finish out the game, and that's it. would mention that tonight's also a day to celebrate Daryl Strawberry and his greatness as a player. He had that record for a very long time, and he hit for a very long time. It looked like he might have gotten it broken by David Wright, but David kind of ran out of steam and got hurt. But he had that record for a very long time, and I loved Daryl when he played. He was one of my favorite all-time players, and to see us talking about Daryl here and there has been great to see, because and he's turned his life around, which is great, and everybody deserves to be redeemed, and he's redeemed himself, and every day he helps people, and which is nice to see too. And but we can't minimize what Pete did tonight, and we want to see him keep doing this now for the rest of his career. Stay with the Mets, get home run number 300 next, 400s after that, and we'll see where we are. He's one of the best power hitters in the game. And of course, he's a great guy, and it's good to see, and makes me feel good to see him as a Met. It's been a real pleasure watching him play all these years. You know, he's had a lot of big home runs. I expect more big home runs, and if he gets hot, the Mets are going to be tough to beat down the stretch. They got to get hot. He's got to stay hot and get hot. He had a great start. He carried them offensively the first 2 months. He's got to get hot again. If he finishes up hot, Mets got a chance to come back in the division. But let me know what you think about this video, of course. Please hit the subscribe button. Of course, I take super thanks. If you love the channel, like what I do, send me super thanks. I had a super thanks a couple of days ago. I do not know who sent it to me. For whatever reason, I did not get the notification, but I did see it come up on the revenue part of the channel. I don't know who sent it to me. But please, of course, send me a super thanks. Great way to support the channel. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.